because we have a ton of good news about the fourth stimulus payment that I want you to know. Congress is back this week and is facing a packed to-do list. There's a lot that lawmakers have to accomplish before January. Hopefully they can get the job done this time. For weeks, the White House has been urging Congress to pass more crisis funding, but the lawmakers have been trying to approve this aid, and there are disagreements appear about how to be paid for, and a Republican push to add amendments addressing some of the legislative priorities. Several weeks ago, Democrats and Republicans had already reached an agreement on this, but much less than $22.5 billion that the White House initially requested. This would actually be paid for using unspent funds that different agencies received as part of last year's American Rescue Plan. Some Senate Republicans, however, refused to move forward with a vote on the aid unless lawmakers considered another stimulus bill. So folks, think that President Biden is doing a good job on the fourth stimulus check? Tell me what you think in the comments. We have a ton of good news about the fourth stimulus payment, so continue to keep on watching. $1,200 monthly checks have finally been approved and proposed for Americans, including Social Security, SSDI, and SSI. Okay, so millions of people in the United States that earn under $200,000 could get monthly payments of $1,250 very soon, while the expanded monthly child tax credit payments were temporarily paused back in December 2021. Lawmakers want to send out more stimulus relief money, and now Utah Senator Mitt Romney has an idea for another beneficial program. Senator Romney proposed a new program called the Family Security Act, which aims to reduce child poverty by providing similar stimulus payments to the child tax credit. Eligible families will be provided with monthly payments of $350 for each child under the age of 6 and $250 for each older child until age 17. Now this is similar to the child tax credit, which actually gave families $300 a month for children under 6 and $250 for children between 6 and 17. The bill is now being negotiated on by both sides of Congress, and we could see big action being taken by Congress this year. So, the qualified families with a single tax filer must make less than $200,000, and joint filers must make less than $400,000. It has been received that while most families will receive the full benefits, households who made more than the requirements could also benefit from Romney's proposal. Apparently, single filers or joint filers earning more will receive $50 or less for every $1,000 earned above the thresholds. Now, Romney said this plan would actually renew our commitment to families to help them meet challenges that they face. But the Build Back Better plan for the expanded child tax credit proposed making the child tax credit fully refundable, which means that families with little to no earnings would actually still qualify for the benefit. Prior to the implementation of the expanded child tax credit, the credit phased in at 15% of earnings over $2,500, based on the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. So I hope that President Biden can definitely do something about the fourth stimulus check and Social Security benefits. I believe he needs to do more for the American people. Now, if you guys agree, tell me in the comments down below.
They're independent. I believe that inflation is our top economic challenge right now, and I think they do too. We've built a strong economy with a strong job market. And I agree with what Chairman Powell said last week, that the number one threat is the strength, and that strength that we built is inflation. So the Fed should do its job, and it will do its job, I'm convinced, with that in mind. Now, as I said when I came to what Congress and the President can do to fight inflation, Americans have two potential paths forward. The first is my plan, the Democratic plan. Plan put forward by congressional Republicans is a second alternative. Here's how each of us would tackle inflation. My plan is to lower everyday costs for hardworking Americans, and lower the deficit by asking large corporations and the wealthiest Americans to not engage in price gouging and to pay their fair share in taxes. The Republican plan is to increase taxes on the middle-class families, let billionaires and large companies off the hook as they raise prices and reap profits at record amounts. And it's really that simple. But let me explain why this choice is so important. Let me start with the Putin price hike, high gas prices, and energy prices. My plan is already in motion. I led the world and other countries to join with us to coordinate the largest release of oil from our stockpiles of all the countries in history, 240 million barrels to boost global supply. Here at home, U.S. oil and gas production is approaching record levels. In fact, we produced more oil domestically in my first year in office than my predecessor did in his first year. To further drive down prices, my administration is allowing the sale of gasoline using homegrown biofuels this summer, which wasn't allowed before. And to reduce our dependence on foreign oil and reckless autocrats like Putin, I'm working with...
Across the United States, many drivers are dealing with historically high gas prices. Before the world crisis, fuel prices were already on the rise, and the crisis overseas has only pushed them up even further. To offset this, the impact of the gas shortage, President Biden announced that over the next 6 months, 1 million barrels of oil will be released from the nation's strategic reserves each day. At the state level, governments are proposing and passing legislation to provide direct relief to residents. These proposals vary widely from fuel tax holidays, like those in Connecticut, Georgia, and Maryland, to direct cash payments, like in New Mexico. Additionally, various states aiming to increase ridership on public transit systems have cut prices by up to 75%. To give commuters more options that do not involve using their cars. Now, Connecticut is one of the 3 states to pass a bill eliminating state gasoline taxes to offset increased costs for consumers. The suspension will be in effect through June 30th, and lawmakers hope that this move is going to provide some relief to consumers as they face rising prices due to a number of international dynamics and market instability. In addition to the tax break, the state has also eliminated fares on public buses statewide during that same period. Connecticut's Finance Committee also took the credit in the first step toward creating a new state income tax credit for low and middle income families with children. The Democrat-controlled team has officially endorsed a bill that would immediately create a new $600 per child credit, but Representative Sean Scanlon, the committee's co-chair, said the proposal is going to provide to comply with federal restrictions on how much tax relief Connecticut can offer while it accepts the emergency federal crisis aid. State lawmakers are insisting that the legislature cut income taxes for the middle class this year in a different fashion by expanding from $200 to $300 a tax credit that offsets a portion of municipal property tax bills. The governor needs to do this. The governor has to do this to fulfill a promise that he made in 2018 when he campaigned for office. This relief would cost about $120 million per year, and the tax break for the working poor costs another $42 million. Like Connecticut, Maryland has also suspended state taxes on gasoline. However, this tax holiday only lasts through April 18th, which is coming in a couple days. Now, when signing this bill into law, the governor, Larry Hogan, said this is of course not a cure-all, and market instability will continue to lead to fluctuations in prices. But we will continue to use every tool at our disposal to provide relief for Marylanders. Looking forward, Governor Hogan has said that he would like to see the state legislature eliminate the automatic gas tax increases that form part of Maryland's state tax law. In December 2021, Indiana's Governor Eric Holcomb had proposed that the eligibility requirements to receive a $125 payment be expanded to those without a reported income. Now, a bill to send these payments was passed earlier in the year,